Hey there, welcome to the video where we are focusing on how we can order our rational numbers. So friendly reminder that when we're talking about rational numbers, we are literally just talking about fractions. We've got decimals and percents. And we are at the point right now where we can get any sort of list of numbers. It doesn't have to all be fractions, it doesn't have to all be decimals, it doesn't have to all be percents. I can give you any mixed group of numbers and expect you to be able to order them from least to greatest. Now, the charts that I have off to the side are kind of an optional situation. They're just meant to help you kind of organize your thoughts. For number one, we're going to order these, the 200ths, the 2/9, the 1/5, and the 20 and 1/3. Now, all I've done here in this first column is literally list the exact numbers in the problem. That's all I've done is list them. The reason I listed them into a chart is so that then I can create a decimal column for myself if I need to, or a percent column for myself. Some of you are decimal people, some of you are percent people, and some of you it actually depends on the type of problem. You might switch back and forth between the two. But for this first one, it's already a decimal, so I'm good here. 2/9, if you do 2 divided by 9, it's 0.2 repeating. And again, even though it says we can't use the calculator, I'll just prove it to you that if you do 2 divided by 9, that's the 0.2's repeating, okay? Now, it's recommended that you have the 1/5 memorized, that's a 0.20. And 20 and 1/3, the 1/3 here would be a 0.3 repeating, so that's 20.3 repeating. Friendly reminder that you could also put a line over these values to show me that they go on forever and ever and ever, or you can use the ... Now in purple, I'm going to show that if you just take this decimal and move it over twice, that's how I got 2%. If I'm taking 2/9, which is 22 repeating, if I move this over twice, I get 22 point, and then the 2's keep repeating for my percent. 20 hundredths is 20%. And if I move this over twice, I get 2033.3 repeating percent. Makes it very, very, very clear to see here that 2% is the smallest number. So this is the smallest one in my list. Then I'm going to have a 20%. Then a 22.2 repeating percent. And last but not least, get it? Literally, last but not least, it's actually the greatest. We've got the fourth biggest number here. And so there you go. So when you list them, you just want to list them using the original format. So the first one we said was the 2%, so originally a 2/100ths. Then we said the 20%, which was originally a 1/5. Then we said the 22 repeating, so that's the 2/9. And then last but not least, literally last but greatest, we'd have the 20 and the 1/3. And this is us putting these in order from least to greatest. Now for the next one, you'll notice that they're actually all already percents. You see that? They're all already percents. So when you list them here, you've literally already got everything as a percent. And now you just might want to have everything to some decimals to be able to compare. So I won't even actually end up using this last column here in my chart. All right, so if we are comparing all of these percents, notice the 33.3, it's already a decimal. I'm leaving it alone, like with the decimal in it. Now this 1/3, the 1/3 is the 0.3 repeating, so I just converted this fraction to the decimal. And again, remember, I'm leaving everything here as a percent. The 33.5 is easy enough, and the 33 is easy enough. I just wanted us to see this 1/3 with the 0.3s repeating, so now we can find the smallest one. If I'm looking at the first decimal place, the smallest thing I see here is the 0. So the 33% is my smallest number. All right, now the next thing I see here is a tie between my 3's. Now when it's a tie here, I'm just going to put a 0. And now I can see that this is smaller than the 3. So 33.3 comes next. Then my 33.33 repeating, which is the 33 and the 1/3. So because this 1/3 keeps going, it's bigger than that 0.3 right there. And then the largest number we'd have is the 33.5%. All right, and we have now listed these percentages from least to greatest. All right, so for the next two here, you can see that I've already just listed, again, I'm just listing the numbers that we have. And now together, let's just take all of these and let's make them decimals, and then we'll make the decimals percents and we'll order them from least to greatest. So 3/5 we know is a 0.60, which is 60%. Cool. 300ths is already a decimal, so I'm going to put 300ths right here. And we know if we move that twice, that's a 3%. All right, to make a percent, I'm just going to leave it right here, 0.1%, which is actually a 0, 0. Remember, you got to go this way. Shoop, shoop. So that's the decimal version of that. That's a very small number. And 1/100th, when we say it, there's 1/100th, and that would be just 1%. Now, for this reason right here, that's why I would consider myself more of a percent person. I can see that a 0.01% is smaller than 1%, which is then smaller than the 3%, and then I get my 60%. So I see this as the smallest number, so 0.01%. We took care of that one. Now we've got the 1%, so that was the 100th. Sweet. Now we've got the 3%, so my 300ths. And last but not, that joke is never going to get old, we get the 3/5. That's the greatest number. So it's 0.01%, 1%, 3%, and 60%. And here we are on the final problem here for ordering. Again, I've just got the numbers listed here in my chart. This is the decimal column. This one's already a decimal, but that is 12.5%. 1/9, when you do 1 divided by 9, that's a 0.111 repeating, which if I move it over twice, it's 11, and then the ones keep repeating, percent. 80%, I can put that in the percent column, which would be a 0.80 right here, 0.80, and I'm just going to put in a third zero so that everything has 3 decimal places. And 4/3 is actually 1 1/3, so this is a 1.3 repeating. And if I move that over twice, that's 133.3 repeating percent. So that's clearly the largest value we have here. Thinking about our number sense, this is the only one that's more than a whole. In fact, you can see it's 4/3, so that's definitely more than a whole. So that's for sure going to be the biggest number. All right, now the smallest one here is the 11.1%. So we're going to start out with a 1/9. Then we've got our 12.5%, so the 0.125. Then was the 80%, and we had here the largest number was the 4/3. And just some quick vocab. If you put something in ascending order, you're going from least to greatest, which is what we did for all of these problems. We put it in ascending order. So again, A to Z, that's going from the first to the last in the alphabet, smallest to biggest. And then descending, kind of like how a plane descends back towards the ground. It's going from biggest to smallest, greatest to least, or backwards alphabetically from Z to A. And that concludes the video for how to order fractions, decimals, and percents. Thank you.